if she had only been ugly.
Out of college, money spent, see no future, pay no rent. All the money gone, nowhere to go. Any job, got the sack. You know, I know every lyric to the Beatles pretty much. And hi, this is Don Marrero with Bill Burr here, and Don Marrero live from the Laugh Factory. We got Bill Burr back.
This is what we do during the day.
We sit here.
We wait for the show to start. Me and Dom sit and we sing old Beatles songs.
They tried to stump me on the Beatles. They were crazy. They asked me, what 3 songs did McCartney play drums on?
I play drums. I don't even know that.
You don't know? Dear Prudence, Ballad of John and Yoko.
Yoko?
Yoko. Oh, you have the balls to make fun of somebody's accent?
That wasn't an accent. You were doing that thing where your brain works too quick and you were moving on to the next thing.
Yoko.
That was his pet name.
In the middle of a dream, I call your name. Remember that song? Oh, Yoko.
No.
Oh,
I want to sing. I want to
you...
sing with you. Come on, you got to do a more mainstream Beatles one.
Close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you. Remember I'll always be true. And then while I'm away, I'll ride home every day, and I'll send all my loving to you.
Boop-a-doop-a-doo, boop.
All my loving I will send to you. All my loving, darling, I'll be true. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, you could have wrote a song back then.
I did write songs. You know, I played it on Joe Rogan, and he liked it. I gave it to him about a year ago.
Didn't you start? You did a comedy team, you and Phil Spector?
Yeah. Let me tell you something about Phil Spector. People don't know that man had a song in his heart. You know, a lot of people.
A gun in his mouth.
A gun in his mouth?
Yeah. Or his girlfriend's mouth.
I loved his wife, though, Ronnie, from the Ronettes. Ronnie Spector.
He's in prison right now, so that's safe to say, right?
Yeah, he's in prison. He looks good. He looks good, though.
He does. Thank God for that.
Yeah. We got a little video of him combing his hair. Yeah, that was weird. He put a gun in the girl's mouth, I think. Boy, did this podcast change.
Yeah, we started off with, and we weren't even singing like Beatles after they started experimenting with drugs.
I am here as you are here. You are me and we are here together. Kevin Nealon always does that he thinks he has to act like with a real British accent. You know what I mean? I am the Eggman. I said, Kev, just sing the song. You know? Yeah.
I always thought that John Lennon and Paul McCartney both, in their own way, like redefined Pussy Whipped. Like, I think the reason why that band broke up was both of their pillow talks to their women. And they just were bitch. Everybody blamed Yoko and they blamed Linda. Yeah. They were just sick of them bitching. And one of them finally just said, well, then why don't you just leave? And then their ego, they had to go, I'm gonna.
I'll show you.
Say it. Go ahead. Tell Paul.
Well, I don't know who was the first one to leave, but it wasn't Paul or John. It was either Ringo or George.
I thought it was Pete Best.
Pete Best got cut.
Pete Best was like, you guys don't have it, man. I'm
Can you imagine getting cut from that? And your whole life you got to live that you were would have been one of the most famous bands ever.
Do you know the one and only time I tried to write a movie, and I just couldn't. I was too scatterbrained. I didn't know what I was doing. I wrote this movie, and they ended up doing a version of the movie already, so I don't mind throwing it out there. I was watching those behind the musics, and they always would do the whole arc of some unbelievable band. And there was always that guy, it seemed, in so many of the bands that quit the band. So it was a movie about a guy that quit a band that went on and became huge.
Oh, God.
And so that was decent premise there, but then where I went with it. So he sells his soul to the devil to go back in time to not quit the band. And he ends up not going to the love of his life, and that he didn't appreciate what he had. So then he goes back and he doesn't quit the band. And then what he learns is the reason why the band made it was because he quit. So then not only does he not get his wife, the band doesn't make it. So then he has to right all the wrongs, which of course he does. And then that's the loophole, and he gets his soul back. It was really fucking schmaltzy. Really schmaltzy.
What movie was this?
It was the one that I never got made.
well, that's a great idea,
but
though.
But then they did another. They did a version. They already made the movie. It was that guy from The Office who parts his hair down the center with the glasses.
Yeah.
The crazy one.
The crazy one in The Office.
He did a movie like that. Yeah, as opposed to all those grounded characters that they had.
That's what I was thinking. Bill, where'd you just come back from? Are you doing an
I was up
thing?
in Toronto at the Toronto International Film Festival. I had a very small part in a movie, and that Mike Binder wrote and directed.
Mike Binder and I auditioned for Saturday Night Live together.
Oh, is that right?
And yeah, I got it. He didn't get it, but I got a few episodes.
Right.
But anyway, yeah.
What years were you on?
I never got on because I got the contract. The producer got fired. I mean, I did like extra. I got paid like $800 and some for extra, which was like.
What was the cast? Because all the cast.
Eddie Murphy and Joe Piscopo.
Ah, Jesus.
It was
legendary.
Really?
That cast? To me, they were legendary.
Well, who else was besides Murphy? Who was?
You are black and I am white. That fucking great.
Live together.
No. They were doing. He was doing Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, and Paul McCartney.
And what? No, he was doing Frank Sinatra.
Oh, okay.
You are blind as a bat and I have sight. You don't remember that sketch?
It sounds familiar. But one of the funniest ones I ever saw was Eddie Murphy doing James Brown.
Oh, yeah.
The hot tub.
I mean, that guy, there still hasn't been a talent at that guy's level, just as far as all, like, unbelievable mimic, his musical abilities, his stand-up. Like, when you look at his specials, the fact that he just stopped at 25, it's just unbelievable. Like
Robin Williams, I would say, winning the Academy Awards and stuff like that would compare with him.
As far as success, yes, but I would say still just as far as wall-to-wall talent. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Eddie do anything that he wasn't like,
I can't be fair about Eddie, because I really don't like him.
Jesus, though.
No, I don't hate him. I don't like the way he treats people. He was always fine with me, but he was just like, condescending to the guys that were around him, like his Tootie and Fruity. Did you know those guys? They're cousins. They were like bouncers. Good guys. And they would come into the Improv with walkie-talkies and shit. At the Improv, nobody gives a fuck. You got Robert De Niro sitting there. Nobody bothers anybody. But
Paul McCartney was down there the other night.
Was he really?
I swear to God, and I missed it. He was down there, and he was in between gigs at where the Dodgers play and where the San Francisco Giants were. He hung out at the Improv, and I missed it. But continue. So
that's really cool. What night was that? The night that he played Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, well, he had already finished his Dodger Stadium run.
Oh, I see. So he was just hanging.
He had a night off from the road, which is funny because as comics we've all had that, but it's usually between the Chuckle Hut and whatever. This guy's between Dodger Stadium and he's got he has the same road schedule as the Dodgers, which is crazy. So
how could he fucking do stadiums still? That's amazing. I wouldn't go see him in a stadium. I love him, but
I heard it's an amazing show. I mean, you're looking at is one of the Beatles. I mean, the Beatles is kind of widely considered the benchmark as far as the greatest groups. And as the years go by, there's a lot of young people that, especially like when their shit came out on iTunes, like it's hard 50 years after they made it to try to and forget the 50 years of music that came after them to see how original they were. And
every kid in my family followed the Beatles, and it was never proselytized into doing it. They always did it. They found them on their own.
What I love is that they came out of the gate like this boy band, where it was all these covers.
Thanks, Greg. I appreciate it. Greg, our producer.
Greg,
Bill
thank
Burr.
you very much.
Bill Burr is one of the strongest comedians in the world, and I've been all over. English-speaking world.
No,
anyway.
This guy here, his arm wrestling skills are ridiculous.
Did we ever arm wrestle?
No, I've heard about it. You got that Philly strength.
A little monkey man.
You got that Philly strength. But anyways, I just love how the Beatles came out and they just had, it was like a boy band. Like it was all covers, and they really should have been like a flash in the pan. Like, did you ever see that Flintstone episode where they talk about bug music? They were making fun of the Beatles. They were going like, bug music, I can't stand bug music. And it was a bunch of fucking giant-looking bugs with their haircuts And this song was, yeah, yeah, yeah. He said, yeah, yeah, yeah. We said, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they just scream,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is basically making fun of She Loves You.
Right.
And they made fun of them, and they also made fun of Elvis. That whole thing. Whatever happened to that Georgia boy? Whatever happened to that Georgia boy? I think they were making fun of Elvis because he had gone into the military and all that. I read a lot. Where's the camera? I read a lot into those Flintstone episodes.
Yeah, that's where you get a lot of your knowledge. He was
My topical material.
from the Stone Age. He was I was a Jetson man myself.
I love the Jetsons.
I looked to the future. Dun, 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 dun. But Elvis tried to get the Beatles deported. That was the rumor on that because he was friends with the FBI. He was hooked up with all those guys, and he was so jealous of them that he did something that is about attention. The first time they were on the Tonight Show, Ed Sullivan goes, and we have a telegram from Elvis Presley and Colonel Parker wishing you the best success here in the United States. So, like, in other words, in their moment in the sun, their incredible moment, Elvis has to get heard. Like he's this deity.
Yeah.
Looking down upon them, blessing them.
Kiss my ring or whatever.
Yeah.
I bet Elvis had no idea, and the Colonel did that himself.
Probably.
Elvis? He's probably out eating a peanut butter and banana sandwich, wasn't he?
Remember the Elvis joke?
No.
Elvis would be on stage when he was getting fat in Vegas. Excuse me, ma'am, are you going to finish them potatoes?
Yeah.
You never heard that joke?
No.
Yeah.
That was all the rage when I first started out. Everyone was doing a fat Elvis. They were still doing it.
Really?
Yeah, in the early 90s.
You started...
No, wait. No. That was all the rage when I would watch stand-up. What am I thinking of? When I was starting, it was still Schwarzenegger, Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson, that's the one that got... I mean, I'm thinking now, why would anybody start doing a Jack Nicholson, like in the 80s, after you saw like 50 guys do it? No.
Yeah. I remember there was a guy who he used to do Arnold, because everybody had a bit. And he used to do Arnold Schwarzenegger inspecting your car. I don't know why. Like in Massachusetts, you had to get an inspection sticker.
Yeah, we had that in Pennsylvania.
To make sure that your car was all right. And he would like put the glasses on and turn around and just go, "Yo, blinkers." There was no joke. And he'd just be standing like he was huge. "Turn on your wipers." And there was no joke. Really. It was just... He was just talking like, I'm not saying the guy was a bad comic. We were all brand new. And I remember he'd be sweating profusely because we were all fucking nervous. And even then, I remember watching that joke just going like, okay, you can kind of do the impression, but there's really no joke here. It's just like you could just be reading a phone book right now doing it.
Did you ever see Angel Salazar?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know what he used to do? Check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out. He did one thing that got the biggest laugh of anything besides Harry Basil when he would take 3 raw eggs as Rocky, and then then he spit them out. And when they spit them out, the fucking audience, you can never write anything that would get that kind of laugh. Not anybody, just you.
Right.
But Angel Salazar would do this thing where he put lipstick on and some makeup and then a wig, and he'd turn around and it would be Tina Turner singing "What's Love Got to Do with It?" And he did nothing. No impression, not even lip singing. He would just go, well, it's, like he just sit there. It was the stupidest fucking thing. People were applauding, crying. It was like that. Was that me?
Either that or somebody just had an idea.
I got an idea. A light bulb.
Did you ever hear about the Angel Salazar room in Atlantic City?
What?
There was a rumor. I shouldn't say it.
You should say it.
All right. Well, at this point, I don't mean any disrespect.
There you go.
Angel.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Allegedly, he, they had the comedy condo down there for the Tropicana Comedy Club.
I heard it,
yeah, and he hooked up with some woman, and it was her time of the month, and he banged her all over the fucking room, and then just left. And then the cleaning lady came in. It looked like a murder scene, and she quit. And allegedly, there was still stains on the windowsill behind the headboard.
Her twat explode?
Yeah. So that's what people said. So I had heard this story. I first heard the story. There was no comic name and there was no location. And as I got closer and closer to the gig, I found out that that's, or whatever. Like, oh, I remember how I found out. I was doing the Tropicana
Nobody's ever
gig.
done that in those chairs, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
No, I don't care. I just hope it doesn't fall.
I was doing the Tropicana gig and somebody said, oh, you stand, he goes, and somebody says, that's the angel room.
Oh,
I go, what room? And he tells me, I go, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, there's still bloodstains on the windowsill. And I look behind the bed, and there was these brown fucking stains. I swear to God. I don't know if any of that's true, and I shouldn't have said his name.
No, it doesn't matter.
But
it's not slander. He used to, we worked at a comedy store in the 80s in Vegas, and he would close the show because he had all these props and shit. And every week, he would always end up picking up the daughter of a young mother. Like illegally, well, I shouldn't say
So what
that.
are we doing now?
I don't know. I'll check it.
No. Why are we all of a sudden talking about him like this?
Yeah, we shouldn't put that
We got to
on.
stop.
Anyway.
And then he would take all his gig money and buy library books for the underprivileged.
He would go to me, Dominic, seriously, brother, do you think I could get AIDS from this? Like fucking somebody without a rubber. I go, well, I guess. I don't know. It's what they say. It's hard for men to get it. I go, how about cocaine? Could that kill me? I go, yeah, it could fucking kill you. It's like it fucking speeds up your heart. Oh, shit, I got to stop, huh? He didn't realize he did it every fucking week. It was so crazy.
Yeah. Great guy.
Great guy. You know what I like
get
about,
out of this.
You know what I like about the early Angel? He had a song in his heart. You should have seen his Tina Turner, though. It was nothing. It got the biggest fucking laugh.
I remember that was used to kill me when the John Wayne Bobbitt. We're gonna go down hacky comedy road here. When remember John Wayne Bobbitt?
Of course.
That was the one where the woman cut off his dick.
Yeah. They threw his dick.
The amount of people that why is there so many flies in here?
It's me.
The amount of people that did bits about it where there was no joke. All they did was say what happened.
Yeah.
So they would just be like, so this guy, his wife cuts off his dick, and everybody's like, ah. She gets it. She takes the dick, gets in a car, drives down the street. Everybody's dying, and throws it in a field, and everybody's laughing. And there's no joke. All they're saying is what happened. And then the cops show up.
Yeah.
They find the dick, and then they reattach it.
Folks, they reattach it. Do you believe this? Give you guys back me up on this. Is this what happened to you?
No joke.
Yeah, well, here's the hackiest jokes I remember are so stupid. So like, my girlfriend said she didn't want to really have sex anymore. She just wanted to be friends. You know what that means? They would always say like sex. You know what that means? I'm not getting laid. That was the joke. That was the joke. It was like that, and
Hey, no, another one you open with. You come on stage. I know what you're thinking. Remember that? And then it was whatever you look like.
No.
Like me. I know what you're thinking. Why did Ron Howard fuck Donnie most? Come on, people.
Well, Patton used to do a thing about looking like a lesbian. Patton Oswalt.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, but it was funny.
Oh, yeah, all this shit is fucking hilarious. I can't picture him ever saying, I know what you're thinking. I used to open with, rather than saying, I know what you're thinking, I would just come up on stage and I would go, Richie Cunningham. What would I say? Ron Howard, howdy doody. And the whole crowd would be laughing. And then I'd be like, you ever notice every redhead you see on TV is just a complete dork? And then I'd launch into my fucking horrific material.
Do you have any bits now that you're ashamed you did?
Yeah, most of them. Early on, yeah, just about all of it. And the only one that I ever liked that I still think is funny is the one about staying back in first grade.
What's that?
I had to stay back in first. My brother flunked out the third grade, and I passed the first grade. And my dad kind of had this one for all for one mentality.
So he held you back?
He held everybody. Well, it was basically...
Was this true?
They saw him... They just were like, you know what? Boys mature slower than girls, so let's hold them all back. So he flunked the third grade, but I passed the first grade. This was the joke. And you learn how to read in the first grade. So I sat there, and this is true, bored out of my mind for the first 6 months of school. as kids are sitting there sounding out the words, going duh, 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 duh. And my joke was duck. The word is duck. What's the matter? The picture didn't give it away? And I still think that that's funny. I'll go to my grave still thinking that that was funny. And that was true. Like I was sitting there. At first it was cool because it was so easy and I felt smart. And then it just became mind-numbingly boring.
It's a very funny joke. You know, it reminds me, it's not the same, but you know that Rocky Laporte joke about his father, you know, he goes to his father, he says, look, Dad, I got a B in spelling. He goes, that's a D, you idiot.
No.
I had a joke. I was an extra on All My Children, and I still think that it's kind of like, maybe because it's heavy, because it has some truth to it, but it was my father left home when I was in second grade. Never cheated on my mother, used to cheat on me, pick up other kids after school, take them to the zoo, take them to play ball. I
remember that joke.
Really? One day, he came up to me, he says, look, I got to live with you. I met another kid. The first time in my life, I feel like a real father. That, you know, it was morbidly funny.
Yeah, most of the shit I am not proud of. I told you. I think I told this last time. By the way, these chairs, I feel like we should be drinking from chalices.
You were fucking going back far. I was just worried a tragedy of you breaking your fucking neck.
Oh, when I was leaning back? No.
Yeah. What are these, Edwardian or something? They're like classic, you know.
If I had to guess, isn't this like, there's got to be some sort of Elizabeth name in there, right?
Elizabethan?
Elizabethan the second.
Victorian?
Yeah, or Franco fucking, what is that guy's name?
Franco Harris?
Not Frank. I was going to say Franco Harris.
You know, we haven't talked about sports 1 second.
No, we haven't. Well, I missed all of it. I was on the fucking airplane coming back, Air Canada, and all they had was, I clicked on the sports on the screen, and all they had was the World Cup games, like replays of the World Cup games. Well, I mean, the rest of the world cares about soccer, but we don't. We just don't, Tom. And I don't think that's going to change.
They're trying, man. They're trying. And you know what it's good for? It's good for grade school kids. It's good for girls, little boys, you know. But it's like for us, we grew up with too much action with basketball and football, you know.
Yeah, I think what it is kids, they get all of that action out playing video games. Yeah. And then they're fat because they don't go outside. And then they just sort of waddle out and they kick the ball around. Because you don't really have to be in good shape to play
you don't
soccer.
Have to. Because you're not, like in basketball, there's only 5 on each side, and it's close.
Yeah.
So you can't fucking hide.
And there's like 26 guys on each team.
Yeah, you could take a casual.
25 or 26, you know?
How many is it really?
I don't know. I just love that there's maybe Europeans watching this losing their fucking minds. They're all in shape. I love doing that. Like I fucked up last week and I said that the SEC won all the major trophies last year because I saw this commercial. I was half asleep, and it turned out it was the ACC. And I got so many fucking tweets. Hey, fuckhead, it was actually the ACC, not the SEC. So this week I was going to continue talking about how the SEC won everything and just try to do it as sincere as I could just to see how many people I could get fucking losing their minds. But I ended up, I forgot to do it. I was too busy making fun of NFL pregame, which I never watch, but I was stuck at the airport waiting to get on my plane. I cannot fucking watch it.
Oh.
Dom, is it time to hit the panic button in Philadelphia? I know it's only week 1. I just like.
Hey, let me tell you, I got 2 calls yesterday. This is 3 weeks ago, but we're doing this. I got 2 calls from my fucking crazy Philadelphia Eagles fans.
Did they win yesterday?
Yeah.
I missed everything.
They won and they covered. The spread was 11, they covered. They were losing 17-0, right, in the first quarter. I get a call. You know what? Fuck the Eagles. Fuck the Eagles. They should take Foles out. Now all of a sudden people are cheering for the first time in his fucking life for Mark Sanchez. This poor guy's been booed more than anybody in the last 5 years with the Jets.
Right.
I got 2 calls like that.
Oh, did he lead him back?
No. But the fact that they were calling for him in the first quarter, Philly fans, you know. see, I think Boston fans, everybody talks about Philly fans, but I think Boston fans are very similar. But the difference is Boston's won so much more. You know what I mean? Like
lately, the last 10 years, we made up for.
No, but you had the fucking Celtics, historic team that can never be duplicated. Nine in a row. You know, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, Phil, I mean, if you're going to go up, I mean, pretty much anybody can beat Philly other than Cleveland if you're going to talk about championships because I mean, the Phillies have
I think,
lost.
that was a little bit. It was a little bit hurtful. You were on my show.
All right.
You coming? Yeah, like
That wasn't about you. That was just
a dig.
about.
It was a dig, Bill.
It was a dig, but not at you. It was a dig because I like.
You like what?
I don't know. It's just funny. Like the same way. Like I don't give a fuck about Philly sports. Like I hope you guys win shit. I don't care, and I don't give a fuck about soccer. But it's just funny to know that somebody could be watching that gives a shit.
Get mad at you?
Yeah, you just get like if you can get them hopping mad, it's fun.
Well, you know what happened to me? It was like a catharsis. It was like an epiphany. I don't have any other big words for this. I was in Boston. I used to fucking hate Boston. I hated Celtics. Wanted the Lakers to win because they beat us so much. As when I was a kid, they beat the fucking Celtics. Always beat Philly. And I'm in Boston. I start going to Knicks. And I'm starting to everybody was nice to me. All those guys, Gavin and Sweeney, and they were so fucking good to me. I heard about what they could be, pricks, and they were great to me. Always like setting me up, not trying to bury me. And I started thinking, I fucking like these people. They're great. Then I get downstairs. Remember the junior baby hook that Magic threw to win that game? Okay, so I'm on the floor in Knicks, and they have it on a movie screen.
Brutal.
And I'm the only one rooting for the Lakers, but not out loud. And then I realized, I thought to myself, what do I hate about these people? I love these people. They're the same as my people that I come from, except they won.
Right.
And that was the end of my hate.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But it helped me.
That doesn't get enough, because the Celtics have won so much, that doesn't get as much, it's always Buckner, the Bucky Dent home run, back when they would do tragic Boston sports fans before we kind of eliminated all that. They would never show that one. They would show Canadians, Guy Lafleur's goal, the too many men on the ice thing. They would show Bucky Dent, Bill Buckner.
Bill Buckner, that was a shame. That ruined his life for a long time.
But I could have stopped that with my bare foot.
With my monkey toes.
It was a slow roller.
Well, he had tape on his thigh. He should have been playing.
Yeah, it's really not his fault. It was McNamara family.
To his what?
Behind the bag. It's fucking Vin Scully's voice forever. And the Mets win it. I had to listen to that for you do that to a fucking city.
You don't like Vin Scully?
No. I'm saying Bill Buckner when he's like, dude, yeah. I got to move out of this city. It's like, well, yeah.
Well, what
did you think was going to happen?
I forget the pitcher's name, but whoever got hit, Joe Carter hit the home run off of for the Phillies.
Mitch Williams.
They threatened his life. He had to move away.
Oh, absolutely.
Then he ended up coming back playing or coaching and playing for this Atlantic City minor league team. They finally forgave him.
Yeah, but you got to lay low. When you do something like that, you got to lay low for a couple of decades. Unless they go out and they win one. Like when we finally won one, we forgave Buckner. Now I watch that fucking highlight. I watch the highlight is funny. I laugh out loud now whenever I see it. But if I actually sit down and watch the ninth inning of that game, it was just single. Bob Stanley, fucking dude he looked like he never played a sport in his life, the shape he was in.
Yeah.
And
you get that in baseball.
The uniforms were all tight back then, and he just comes in, was like... It's like, dude, you never even had an athletic shape to get into that shit. Like, you always can tell the guy who used to lift.
Yeah.
He still has this shit and some of this, and then it's just kind of all gets bad here.
Bob Stanley
was just, dude, he was a pile of shit.
There was a guy named Royce Sievers for the Phillies, and he was kind of past his prime, and he hit what would have been an inside the park home run for an athlete. Right. He kind of stumbled to his knees around third base and just started crawling. It was so sad. I thought he was going to turn over like he had a shell on his back.
Did he make it?
No. They fucking just tagged his head, and that was it. He didn't make it. He was all out of breath and shit.
You know what was funny was when a fat kid would really get going and then would have to start slowing down, they would do that thing with their arms.
It's like a wind repellent.
Yes. Like a helicopter, going half-cyclic there, trying to fucking...
What was that word?
Half-cyclic.
I've never
That's
heard
the
that.
Controller.
Oh, very good, Bill.
Well, thank you. You know, I try.
Where'd you go to college?
Oh, I went to a bunch of colleges. I finished at...
Did you graduate? I never knew this.
Yes, I did. But when I graduated, I finally got straight A's when I went to Emerson College.
I know Emerson.
And great guy.
Yeah.
And
Ralph Waldo, huh?
he ended up, no, Lake and Palmer. Sorry, this is bad.
What was their hit?
It's probably something about the wind. All those early 80s songs were about weather.
It's been a hard day's night.
Yeah, she rides like the wind. Like all that. Wait a minute. Emerson, Lake, and Palmer.
Guys, we got anything?
You know, it's funny. You know that late night shit when you got the TV on and then they go, and who can forget this one? They have those
right. I can.
Yeah, I fucking went and I bought the Easy Listen and Rock one.
Did you buy it?
Oh, dude, it's fucking great. There's so many songs on it. It's just all childhood sense memory as I'm driving around. And of course, I can't remember any of them because I talk on cell phones and it's fried my short-term memory.
I'd like to know what the Emerson, Lake and Palmer hit was.
You know what? I think that we have enough comedic talent that I can be on an iPhone. We can keep this show being funny. All right, here we go. I was actually saying, did you notice when you were up in Boston, have you ever heard somebody from Boston, like a real hardcore Boston person, say Saturday?
How did I say?
They just, Saturday. Come on around Saturday. You don't really say it. Say. It's almost like all one word. Well, me and Wayne Previty, we used to joke about that. Say. And so I was actually listening to that fucking Chicago song, and that was like the perfect Boston song for karaoke. We just go, say.
In the park.
In the park.
Park.
Think it was the 4th of July. Hey, now, if you had to guess, Emerson, I want to know whoever's still fucking watching this, what should you be doing right now? Emerson.
We're funny together, aren't we? We got chemistry.
We got
like
chemistry. Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. Oh, it comes right up. People walking, people talking, a man selling ice cream.
Well, I thought that was Chicago that sang that.
Who did I say? Singing Italian song.
That's not Chicago? That's
yeah, it is.
Oh.
And I've been waiting. I called them the Doobie Brothers on my podcast, and I had to apologize for that.
Yeah, Allman Brothers, Dewey Brothers, same thing.
It's all brothers. Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. Years active, 70 to 79. And then that's, dude, I'm doing my own thing. 91 to 98. All right, what were we thinking? Let's get back together.
What the fuck? That was a good gig.
All right, hang on. Associated with past members. Past members, Keith Emerson, Greg Lake, and Carl Palmer. This is a super group. They found success, 40 million albums.
Wow.
History, discography. How would you say that?
Yeah, that's...
You know, only I could fucking have an iPhone in my hand, still not get the answer to something so fucking...
You ever get those people that get it like in a second?
Yeah, you mean young people?
Yeah, is that what they're called?
C'est la vie? Was that them? C'est la vie, c'est la vie.
I don't remember that.
That's just the way it is. All right, I'm just going to click on... This is a 9-minute song. There's no way this is a hit. Carn Evil 9. You know what? Fuck Emerson, Lake, and Palmer.
No. You're that close.
I know. You really want to know now, don't you?
Yeah.
Is anybody up there good at computers?
Yeah, Greg is.
Greg.
He's not watching. That's not funny.
You with the lovely laugh. Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. Can you find out what their fucking hit is? The ninth caller. Remember that shit? Taking callers now. The ninth caller calls in. Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. And when I just write hit. Come on, you cunt. Stop it. Stop it. Do what I want you to do.
Don't use the cunt word on here.
And I've been waiting such a long time. Top 10 Emerson, Lake, and Palmer songs. Number 10. She's like the wind.
She's like the rain.
Air
She's
Supply.
Like the snow.
Yeah.
She
Earth,
can't
Wind, and
complain.
Fire. Air Supply. She's like the wind. It was all about like nature. Wait a minute. Number 10, Trilogy. Number 9, Peter Gunn. Hoedown. Number 8. Number 7, Jerusalem.
Oh, Jerusalem.
Number 6, From the Beginning. Number 5, I swear to God, Nut Rocker.
Ow.
4, Fanfare for the Common Man. 3, Tarkus. Lucky Man. Ooh,
Oh.
what a lucky man he was. And then Carnival 9. I guess that was a big hit for
Lucky
them.
Man's the one the most famous one I remember. What's number one?
Carnival 9.
How's that go? You know it?
Ooh, Carnival 9.
You
Not
are-
7.
You're a very funny man, Mr.
Oh, Mr. Burr, you're so funny.
So funny.
Oh, here's Lucky Man.
I like that song.
And then immediately goes to other shit. The
Well, I used-
Moody Blues.
I used to be a waiter in New York, and I was so fucking slow. And all these guys, these Chinese guys, were like dishwashers, and I would be the last one in because I was so slow. And they go, "You done? You done?" I go, "No." They go, "Oh." I was saying fucking like, "Oh fuck." So one night I'm trying. They hate.
I thought they were saying your name. You
No,
dumb?
you done? No, you done? So at the end, one night I'm riding home on the A train to Brooklyn, and they're all on the thing.
Sounds
and
like the name of an album.
riding the A train to Brooklyn, huh? And the guys, I'm trying to be nice. They hated me, right? So I'm just trying to be friendly. I go, so like we're heading downtown. I go, where do you guys live? They go, Chinatown. Like, you fucking idiot. Like, I don't want to make a stereotypical thing like saying a black guy lives in Harlem or a Spanish guy. Chinatown. The face? What's your favorite sport to watch, to play?
I probably like hockey.
Yeah, you're a see. I don't know hockey like you. You really grew up with hockey.
I kind of fell into it. My parents were from the Midwest, so they weren't into it at all, and I just started watching it around 6th, 7th grade, around 1980, 81, when Ray Bork was still number 7 and had the porno stash is when I started watching. And I thought it was immediately. I loved it. I loved the violence of it. I loved that you could fight.
It's great. It's a great game. Yeah.
But I definitely like football. It's cool.
Well, you know what I like about football?
Baseball in October. Like, there's certain sports I like playoff baseball. I love. Basketball. The NBA. I don't know. I think the NBA is filthy. I think it got really bad there for a minute, and they were able to kind of blame it on one referee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seemed like it was, you know, at the end of the day,
I always felt that Laker Kings series was fixed.
that guy worked that one. He also worked that one when they fucking beat Portland. It was
Really?
brutal. It's very shady. Like, I don't know. For years, I was just watching, just going. What it was the inconsistency of the call, where it was just no blood, no foul, then they're calling everything, and it's just like, these guys, they're shaving points. Something's going on here. I don't know what the fuck's going on. This doesn't seem right. I've watched enough sports to know that this looks fucking weird, and I shouldn't know that as a fan. What killed me is everybody's, you fucking conspiracy theorist. Well, we think the moon's made out of cheese. 9/11 is an inside job, blah blah. And then they bust a ref for fixing games.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, vindicated, and all the NBA fans are just say, it was one guy. Just one guy. Really?
Yeah, right. One guy.
Fixing those games, and like, dude, if you were on an
I think
officiating
he's out of jail
crew,
now.
If you were on an officiating crew, right?
Yeah.
And somebody on your crew was shaving points, how long would it take you to figure it out?
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's a little weird.
So either they kind of hung in there and helped out the investigation. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I didn't even care that much about the fixing the games. What bothered me was a lot of the refs got first class tickets and traded them in to go coach. That to me was unacceptable.
Why?
Because it's just like fucking. It's so classless. Like they gave them first class tickets.
No, it just shows you that if you're going to fix the game, those are the guys. Because not only are they getting underpaid, they also the level of power. They have more power than any referee in all 4 sports, without a doubt. They have the most power. They can sit down stars. They give them 2 quick fouls. That's it.
Yeah, they can.
Like, you can't sit Tom Brady. Like, he has to do something. Like, he'd have to spit in a player, so you have to eject him.
Yeah, you're right.
You can't put him on the. I guess you can put him on the sideline. But every time he has a big play, you keep him off the. But he's still going to come out every time they have the ball.
Although a guy who calls balls and strikes is pretty powerful because he can make a lot of walks that are marginal. You know?
Absolutely. But I'm saying, nobody can.
No, that's true.
Can sit a guy down.
It ruins fucking games. You know, you got a guy who's got three fouls in the first quarter.
Dude, the last time the Celtics and Lakers met in a Game 7, I mean, that is the NBA. That's 33 championships between the two of them.
Yeah.
That fucking game got decided at the foul line. And they called 30-something fouls on the Celtics and, like, in the teens on the Lakers. And I'm not saying that if they just let them play that the Celtics would have won, but it was just so fucking anticlimactic. Like, it didn't have, you know, a three-point. It didn't have, like, the fucking baby skyhook or anything like that. The biggest thing was Ron Artest hit a three-pointer.
Yeah, I remember
with
that.
like, I don't know how much time left. But other than that, it was just, they just foul. And then they were just taking unguarded shots. It was like that year of the World Cup where it came down to like penalty shots.
Yeah.
That was really bad for it here in America. Because that was one of the first years they tried to make us give a fuck. And we sat down and watched it. And we were like, wait a minute. That was when that dude from Italy missed it. And
Maradona or something?
No, that was the guy from Argentina, hand of God, right?
Why would I even attempt to know something about soccer?
Well, I was just thinking how much fucking shit I've watched on sports that I actually know, hand of God and a couple other things.
You know, I was doing Lauren and Wally, you know, that show in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And they said to me, it was the year the Red Sox finally won. They go, who do you like in baseball? I go, I like the Yankees and the Red Sox. They go, you can't like both. I go, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Really. I can't like both. I said I like it because I like the teams. I like the players. It's exciting. I can't watch fucking Cleveland Indians play Seattle in April.
Yeah.
I could watch the Yankees and Red Sox, especially in those days.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like, I'm like that in college sports. I like Ohio State, and I also like the Wolverines. I like most of the teams in the SEC.
The SEC's fucking great.
Yep, absolutely. I like the Seminoles, and I like the Gators. Was never a Hurricanes
I was
fan.
because of going to college down there, but they were a bunch of hoodlums. But
I just didn't like their helmet. I didn't like the way that looked, and
that's a good reason.
yeah, I mean, because I'm not into the the
U, man.
Yeah, I
It's the
just
U.
didn't like. Just looked like a cheap helmet to me.
They had some funny players. I mean, Warren Sapp and those guys played there. They had a lot of talent.
Yeah, Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin, I felt, was the only guy who was honest in their 30 for 30, because they were just fucking overhyping. Like the president was shaking that they were coming to town. It's like, dude, I came from a pro sports town, Boston. We didn't even fucking really even know you guys existed.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Flutie's game. You know, I listened to that on the fucking radio.
I saw that Boston College against Notre Dame. Who'd they beat?
No, when on that pass, that was against Miami in the Orange Bowl.
Against what was it? Phelan or something?
Gerard Phelan.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was the greatest thing ever. Like the magic of Flutie and like, oh, we got it. And then the guy's going, he did it. He did it. Flutie did it. It's like, well, I mean, people blocked. Phelan caught the ball, but it was like literally like this guy is like, I mean, that Doug Flutie is one of the biggest winners I ever saw as far as like just his size and his will to win.
Incredible.
Like everywhere he went, if they gave him a chance and let him play his game, because that was before they let people, run outside the pocket or whatever.
McMahon hated him for some reason, or he seemed to.
Oh, is that
when
right?
He went to the Bears. I think he was like, I like Jim. I know him, but I think he was kind of like threatened by his fame and his height, his lack of height. That pissed him off. I used to call him the midget,
I don't know. So that getting back to that 30 for 30, Michael Irvin was the only one who just went, listen, we were just a bunch of punk kids acting like you. Like, I just wish, like, you get in your 40s, you look back the shit you did or whatever, or 50s or whatever, you just look back and you go like, you have to have some sort of sense of humor on like what a moron you were. But there was so many of them. I think it was because Irving went on to have a Hall of Fame career where a lot of the other ones didn't, and it just sort of ended there. So they had to be like, you know.
But they had a lot of
we were 10 feet tall and we did this and we did that. And it was just like, you danced after you've scored touchdowns.
They're one of the schools that had the most players that went into the pros.
Did they?
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of University of Miami. That's right, stupid freckled cunt.
So you're doing the audience's thoughts about us too.
Well, you know what they're thinking. If you have a Twitter account, you read it. So after a while, you actually have that. You start hearing their heckling.
What's your Twitter?
At Bill Burr.
I like that. Mine's at Dom Herrera.
Oh, it's very clever.
What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
Dom, I do that. I do the at and then my name. I do that.
Oh, you do that?
Yeah, I've been doing it since like 2010
that's
when
where I got
Rogan's
it.
son.
I was just starting out. What do I got coming up? Brad Garrett's Comedy Club in Vegas.
Oh, that's a great
And then
gig.
Brokerage and Governors in New York. Some of my favorite gigs.
I love Governors.
I love going to New York and not having to deal with New York because they're the real New Yorkers. You go to New York City, you get like Portuguese sailors who thought it was a strip club.
Right.
You know?
I love doing Long Island was depressing when I first did it, but when I started to get out there and I got to know people a little bit more, I actually really enjoyed doing that. And Governors is that great club too, where it's like you have the option of whether you want to deal with the crowd or not. Yeah. If you had a bad set, you're immediately in the green room. Oh, I love that That was priceless.
It's great having it right there.
Nick's Comedy Stop. Remember, if you had a bad set, you had to walk through the crowd, walk the gauntlet. Yeah, and God forbid you got into it with one of those maniacs that lives up there.
Well, that could have been a rough club.
Dude, he's taking off his clattering. Right? I didn't want to deal with any of that crap. So
what's another good? You know who really liked you when they worked with you? Arlene and Harlan Jameson and the Bananas.
Oh yeah, they're great people.
Hasbrook Heights.
Yep.
It's funny how when they do it right. I mean, it's only a hotel ballroom, but they turn it into a great comedy.
But it's such a sick room though. Like that was one of those rooms where you could really, like after doing those leaning on the mic stand, New York City, late night spots when you went out there. Like those clubs kind of gave you hope in a weird way. Like it was a decent crowd and you did 45 minutes and it all worked. And the
sight lines are good.
Yeah.
And
ceiling's low.
You know what's funny to me? It's like the cellar. I was one of the guys that told the guy to start the cellar, to move there. And I'm not taking any credit for it, but I was one of them who said, because he says, well, I want to go to Midtown. I go, fuck Midtown. Go to the West Village. You got the Battery Tunnel coming in. You got the Holland Tunnel. You fucking crazy. And anyway, to see it now, and it's such a shrine by comedians. And I'm thinking, I love it. I love the cellar, but it's still a shit room.
It's a terrible room. The layout is terrible.
Terrible.
It's like from here to that post is the back of the room, and then it's like here to that wall, it goes that way, and then this way is a little shorter. Like I remember
everything's staged right.
Yeah. Stage. I always tried to play stage left. I used to, whenever I would play that room, I would always I'd pretend like I was leaning on the wall of the piano. But I would kind of be going like this, so I'd have at least 3/4 of the room.
Oh, you're right.
And then you try, you get your drink of water, and then you kind of play over here a little bit, and then back, kind of doing this the way it was. But having said that, I mean, it was just a fucking. It still is an awesome club, but the layout of the room.
I think the comedians make it awesome because they have so much love for, what's her name?
Esty.
Esty and. Manny,
yeah, but Manny, the late great Manny, but Manny also was he just wanted to put the best guys on. So he kind of put together this murderer's row night after night after night that then that was how the legend of the cellar was kind of built, I felt. Because by the time I got to New York, you already knew that the cellar was the place to be. And I started going out to New York in 94, 95, and it was already a legendary place. And it was weird, around the corner, the Boston Comedy Club was also legendary just as far as...
That was Barry Katz, right?
Oh, my God, that fucking room. That room had my heart for a while, man. I used to get so fucking...
I didn't play there much.
Intimidated going on in there.
By the time you were in New York, I was out here, so that's why we didn't know each other for those years.
I came down in 95, September of 95.
I moved here in 87.
Oh, yeah. No, it wasn't even close.
When did you start doing stand-up?
March of 92.
See, we like to end our podcast by actually getting sleepy and yawning.
Well, as I had fucking El Polo Loco before I came here, so now all that shit.
It's not Polo, it's Pollo.
Pollo?
Well, Polo? You think it's like Polo, like the fucking game?
El Polo Loco. Or I got to say that.
El Pollo.
El Pollo?
El Pollo.
Well, maybe that's what they smell. They smell the chicken grease on my face. All right, come on, man. What else you got? There's got to be something else there. I like your wristband. Did you just come back from Hawaii?
No, it's my...
This is nice. Remember Wonder Woman? We're just going to do prop comedy for the rest of it. Who was the first female superhero you jerked off to? Or at least empowered woman on television?
Actually, it was Mrs. Ed. Mr. Ed's wife. When that show was on. I had a crush on her. Some big blonde, big busty blonde.
Oh, yeah?
She was cool.
What'd you think of the passing of Joan Rivers, man? Top 5 all time, I say.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I think maybe, and if anybody ever wrote more stand-up material, be her.
She was
I think
amazing.
Carlin.
Yeah.
It was funny that they were doing that whole thing. Oh, she had such a rough time, you know, as a woman and all that. I was like, oh my God, she started in the 60s. It must have been brutal.
Fucking Jackie Robinson of comedy.
Yeah, but then I saw her on Fallon, and she goes, they took out a picture of her with Johnny Carson. She goes, yeah, that was 1965. I had been struggling for 8 years in the Village, and Johnny saw me and said, you're going to be a star, and he started putting me on the show. And I'm like, 8 fucking years?
Jeez.
The fuck?
You know, sometimes people say that to me about, you know, I just started. I'm in my 10th year. I'm thinking, you just started. I don't want to tell them, you know, I don't want to be a fucking ass and say what I had done by 10 years in. But man, I wasn't fucking worried about getting spots. I got a 10 o'clock Sunday night on Chocolate Sunday.
I struggled, Dom. I struggled in this business for 8 years.
Did you really?
No, I'm joking. Like 8 years is not struggling. 8 years, you're just figuring out how to be fucking funny, aren't you?
But no, but I had like good things happen to me after a couple of years. I was lucky, I guess. I was on television in 3 years after I started, but it was Star Search, so that's the good and the bad.
What did you wear on it?
Leisure suit. No, I don't know what I wore.
Well, I remember what years was it? Was that the
83?
Okay, so 83. Oh no, those suits weren't that bad.
No,
those suits weren't that bad. That was more skinny tie kind of time.
I didn't do that.
It was those. Remember the puffier ones, towards the late 80s, early 90s, where it was those sort of really loud colors.
If you want to see me like at a goofy fucking stage, I did an HBO special in Miami in South Beach. And by the way, I'm fucking aggravated when I hear these guys talk about South Beach and it's Miami. That they're Stephen A. Smith and those guys, they're always saying they took, you know, even LeBron, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. They don't fucking play in South Beach. They never played in South Beach.
Isn't Miami, it's just in Miami, right?
Miami Beach is a separate city than Miami. They have their own mayor and everything else. South Beach is part of Miami Beach. Miami itself is where, anyway, it's going to get fucking too geographical, but nobody plays in South Beach. South Beach is where you see these fucking beautiful Brazilian models walking down the street at 4 a.m. You find out they got a cock.
That's where LeBron took his talents.
That's where he took his talents.
Oh, all right.
Oh, but anyway, so the special that I shot, I have a fucking big pompadour, like this high.
Right.
And I had a lavender blue suit and fucking big
black
white free Reeboks, whatever they gave me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I look really fucking goofy. If you have no time and you're in a hospital in traction, put it on.
What is that a special you did?
Yeah, it was like early 90s.
I don't have it. The only reason why I don't have that is because I during those awful fashion times, no one knew who the fuck I was. But if I was on TV, like if you see some of my early VHS, I found a fucking picture of me. I'm wearing those Z Cavaricci puffy pants.
Oh, no.
A waist length, like leather jacket, driving gloves, and some sort of dumb hat. And I think I have my first beard that I ever tried to grow.
Now, you used to be called Billy, right?
It was a shit show. I started off is William Burr, and then I was like, I'm not a William. I was always a Bill. Then I went with Bill, and then I moved to New York, and I was like, well, Billy Burr flows more with Bill, with the last name Burr. And so I went by Billy for a couple of years, and then I was just like, I can't do it. I'm just not. I don't care if it doesn't sound well with my last name, so I just...
Billy sounds like a kid too much, like... Hey, Billy.
Or either a kid or it's also like a guy that grew up in the city. Joey, Mikey, Eddie, Billy. Like, Billy, what are you doing? Like, I wasn't that guy. I was a suburb kid. So it was just one of those things. But I mean, if somebody calls me Billy, I don't give a fuck. I'm not one of those people whose ears turn red. Don't call me that. I can't get this off now.
I did the Tonight Show. You'll be all right. I did the Tonight Show, and Carson introduced me as Dominic Guerrera. Right? So Leno calls me up. Yeah, you got to drop that Dominic. It doesn't flow. Dom Guerrera. So that was the only... At least he didn't critique my set. He critiqued my name.
Oh, there you go. He probably didn't listen after the intro. Hey, that intro was all wrong.
I got to tell him that. Bill, thanks for coming on, man.
No worries. No worries. I heard Leno came into the Improv the other night.
Yeah.
That's what we like to do here at the Laugh Factory is hype the Improv down
Not
the
only
street.
did he do his set, but he put in for a set, which is kind of nice of him. He didn't just assume that he was going to go on. He called him and told him he was coming in, which I respect.
Hey, it was. You know why he did that, Dom? It was out of respect.
Because he's got class. Remember that Sarah Silverman joke?
No.
About Ron Jeremy? Because he could blow himself. But his pinky finger was always out. You know why? Because the man's got class.
I just did a couple oddball dates with her. Had a great time.
She's fun, isn't she?
Yeah. She's a great person, and she's fucking hilarious.
Beautiful, too. Yeah, I forget how pretty she is because she's such an old friend, and I never thought of her. I never thought of her as a woman as opposed to I thought of her as a terrific comic.
Right.
You know?
Tom, I always felt that way about you. You know what I mean?
Are you serious, Bill?
Well, it was one of those things. No, it was one of those things where, I never really heard the jokes. I was just so enamored with your chiseled good looks. I don't know what it was.
It's funny you would say that because when I don't look at you, you sound very attractive. Then I get startled. So you're not going to get...
It's funny. All these years of knowing you, I know the second you say... it's funny you mentioned that I know you're fucking winding up.
Winding up
one of your insults. Yeah, keep it going for Bill Burr. You know what I like about his act? I'm like, all right, here it comes. Most comics...
Go for the laugh. They try and entertain, not Bill.
He's completely comfortable just coming up here and just saying what he wants to. He doesn't care if you're entertained.
Hey, man, thanks for doing the show, too, the Don Marrero Ballbuster show. I love when you come on.
Time.
Yeah, come on.
Somehow we talked about, our conversation, we were talking about, Carol Burnett and Ruth Buzzy, and it was just in front of this young crowd. They're all sitting there
fucking 18-year-old.
I don't know what these old guys are talking about. Anyways, all right, I got to go run back to this fucking goddamn thing.
Thanks, Bill Burr.
Dom, always a pleasure.
Ti amo, love you. Thanks, Bill. Bill Burr, go see him wherever. Where are you going to be?
I'm doing one of those oddball dates this weekend, September 14th.
No, give us something later, 3 weeks from now.
October 4th, I'll be in San Francisco at the Eddie McGillicuddy's Fungo Ranch. You can see it all. It's on BillBurr.com. I got to come back on again. We're going to sing. Look, this time we sang Beatles. We got to close out with a Beatles song. Come on. You're the big Beatle guys. You start singing it, and I'll do.
I'll do the Beatles doing Roger. Was it Hammerstein? What was that? Okay,
ladies and gentlemen,
it's a musical. It's a musical. I forget this. The Sound of Music. No, not anyway. There were bells on a hill, but I never heard them ringing. No, I never. This. Heard them at all till there was you. This is not a go in to go out with.
Yeah, because I want to be able to jump in.
Okay.
It's about me, Dom.
Doing for Miami Beach, BOSC. Didn't get to bed last night. All the way to paperback was on my knee. Man, I had a dreadful flight. I'm back in the USSR. Don't know how lucky you are, boy. Back in the USSR. Well, the Ukraine girls really
knock me out.
Who leave the West behind? Boom, boom, boom. Moscow girls make me sing and shout. Georgia's always on my mind. Thank you, Bill Burr.
No worries. All right, buddy.
Each time that I think of you, I get distracted by something more interesting. Whoa, people say I'm a loser. So what does that make you?
Chimo, mabaminda na usawidi gozo, buya limbe, kumba na usawidi gozo. How about something is killing me slowly, and I'm feeling so lonely. But this thing I must to talk All my people they for bush and our children are they go for school but nobody fit to talk We get to plenty so many things where we really want to complain to you. See these people where they kill us, not the people where they get for protect we, yeah. Our children, they for prison. Our leaders, they for prison. Now they calling for dialogue. Now who and who go talk, oh. That's why we pray to God. Heal our land, heal our land, heal our land. Cause all our people are dying, and our mothers are crying. Heal our land, heal our land, heal our land. Cause all our children are dying, and our mothers are crying. Yeah. But I don't know what's up, oh, at all, oh. This war is bigger, and one man of it put a stop, oh. So make we put them all together, oh. I see plenty people don't die, and the house they went up, and I saw the people they need so far. Everybody running helter skelter, the children they need suffer, there is no food and shelter. Our children down the suffer, while the leaders living la vida loca. Yeah. So now we start with the go so Cameroon do. We get to plenty so many things where we really want to complain to you. That yeah. See these people where they kill us, not the people where they get for protect we, yeah. Oh, no. Our children they for prison. Our leaders they for prison. Hey. But they be calling for dialogue. Now who and who go talk, oh. That's why we pray to God. Heal our land, heal our land, heal our land. Cause all our people are dying, and our mothers are crying. Heal our land, heal our land, heal our land. Cause all our children are dying, and our mothers are crying.
Okay, let's take a minute of silence for our brothers and sisters who have lost their life in the struggle, and our mothers who are living in the bushes, our children suffering in the bushes with no food and no shelter. We pray that may peace return in our land so that we can live in peace, peace forever. That's what we cry for.
We get to plenty so many things where we really want to complain to you. See these people where they kill us, not the people where they get for protect we, yeah. Our children they for prison, our leaders they for prison. But they've been calling for dialogue. Now who and who go talk, oh. That's why we pray to God. Heal our land, heal our land, heal our land. Cause all our people are dying, and our mothers are crying. Heal our land, heal our land, heal our land. Cause all our children are dying, and our mothers are crying. Say we get to plenty so many things that we really want to complain to you. Daddy, everywhere. Now we go so Mabaminda,